Miguel das Missões in Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, and it's one of the missions, or the remains of the missions that were created by the Jesuits in the 17th century. And I was always, or not always, but at least since I go to John of God, I was attracted to Ignatius de Loyola, because Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuits, he is the patron of John of God. John of God says he's one of the main spirits that guides him in his work. And so Ignatius was a nobleman in the 16th century. He was wounded in the battle, and when he was almost dying, he had visions and became instructed how to start a new order, a new monk order, and this would become the Jesuits. And he was coming right at a time when Catholic religion was very much in trouble because of too much corruption and too much mafia intrigues inside the church. And so he was part of the Counter-Reformation, and he was meant to put again the emphasis on making faith something that is actually his work, his challenge is not easy. It's not just about making money and having a good life, as most priests at this time were doing, but about challenging, and by this way creating faith, a faith in something higher in God. And so most of what Ignatius de Loyola did just at this time, when the New World was discovered, India was discovered, China, Japan, he was sending people, his missionaries, to those faraway lands, like here in Brazil, and had them work with the Indians. So one of the first ones coming to Brazil were Nobrega and Anchieta, and they founded Sao Paulo. Imagine, they came here in the 16th century, walked up the steep hills, and they about 100 kilometers from the sea, and then they said, here we'll build a church, and this should become a new city. And now it's Sao Paulo with 17 million people. And I almost always I'm very moved by those two names, and I think I had something in connection with them. And so imagine now, they arrived there in Santos at the Atlantic coast after several months of voyage on the ship, on which most of the time half of the people on board had died. And then they knew that the missions that were already existing 10, 20, 30, 50 years are somewhere far away. Actually, this place is, as I said, 2,000 kilometers away from Sao Paulo, or at least 1,000 kilometers from the ocean. And so how did they come here? There was no supermarket, there was no roads, there were no maps, and actually they were hiding, and they were keeping their whereabouts unknown, because they were always in danger of these slave hunters. So imagine, they arrived there. The Jesuits must have had a very good system of getting them here. Certainly it was very hard and all on foot, but they made it, and you can see here that's the result. And there's another 50 missions here in the area in north of Argentina, in Paraguay, and they had all the same layout. Here in the middle is the cathedral, here is the piazza, on the other side exactly symmetrically is the cemetery, and then here a little bit further over there is the houses or the rooms of the monks. And so how did they find a way to continue this for almost 100 years, almost invisible to the rest of the world, creating, when you read the letters, an almost ideal society? There were here in the back houses in this place for 7,000 Indians, and they were living here in harmony with without any pressure, without really any force, because imagine there were only maybe 10 missionaries but 7,000 Indians, and the Indians, they came from a background where they would not love their enemies. They were trained to kill them and eat them. So most of them, of those people here, they were cannibals. And imagine the challenge of the missionaries to civilize those people, to make them not only obey but really to like what they were doing. And so this is for me a great miracle. What did they do? How did the Jesuits inspire not only the Indians but also from the San Miguel de Misois here in Rio Grande do Sul? And I'll make another video about what I think inspired, what made it possible for the Jesuits to make these unbelievable feats of endurance and of courage and of faith to build those places, and also to make the connection with this new culture and build the foundation for South America and for many other places in the world.